part of the reason my skin looks decent at my age, decent being hydrated and a reasonable wrinkle to skin ratio, is because I stayed out of the sun. After I turned 60 and my dermatologist reminded me, you might want to stay out of the sun. Here you go. I'm throwing out the metaphorical welcome mat for you so you can cross the threshold of this podcast, feeling the warm glow that is me greeting you. I'm so happy you're tuning in to Bangs and Botox, Women Who Wear Aging Well. I'm Diane Dean-Epps, the host of this anthem to inspiration that I hope does inspire you. I'm an author of 7 books and counting. I'm still on 2 hands with those. The latest being Bangs and Botox. I'm a comedian who has done stand-up comedy in my past. And, oh, God help me. Whew, people were hitting record and there's no tougher gig. And I'm afraid that video is going to surface. Truth be told, there's more than one video. Yikes. And just to round out the whole package of me, your podcast maven here, I'm a teacher, media maven, speaking of which, and Mimi and Mama to the second power. Why the Mimi maven? Well, I've worked in media for years and years and years, and then we'll add some more years. TV, radio, and a little thing called print that is a little less print and a little more digital. So just a quick shout out to my male listeners. First of all, thank you for not being off-put by the women who wear aging well part of this. This podcast is for you also. So why is women in the name, you might ask me? Well, because it's from the perspective of this woman. So it naturally addresses what may be classified as female topics like, yes, the menopause, and the physical aspects of inhabiting a female body. And, well, the whole dealio is we're celebrating women. My not so hidden agenda is I'm all about connection. So I believe we are all connected by our shared experiences. This All Diane Channel show promises to make you laugh out loud at least once, fingers crossed, chuckle at least twice, and smile 3 or more times. I'm a woman with a big voice, big ideas, and lots to say about what I believe is our shared experience. This podcast is about many things: empowerment, freedom, laughing at the silly, crazy everyday occurrences in life. And it's about encouraging you to own your space and place in this world. It's a huge slice of wonderful to be here with you today for our comedy clatch that I refer to as Sit Down, Stand Up. While it's safe to say Bangs and Botox always possesses an underlying theme of love. For instance, last episode, I talked about being a new fur baby mama of a puppy, and that was love. But then I talked about other things as well. This time around, the topic is relationships, which also, of course, has the love component. But relationships, dun, dun, dun. Let's just let that word sort of settle in as it makes you remember, might make you want to forget, or it makes you giddy, dependent upon whether you're fully in the throes of a healthy romantic relationship that is really doing it for you. This time around, the topic is relationships. Dun, dun, dun. I have been in a relationship, the married, we'd need to get the law involved if we wanted to be apart kind, for yay, these many, here we go, 42 years, 6 months, 30 days, and some 22 million minutes. Whoa, that's a double snap, is it not? So let's just let that word relationships kind of settle in as we remember, maybe acknowledge the forgetting, and maybe even you might feel somewhat giddy that you're still enjoying your relationship. Maybe it's a new one. You know, most of the time, can we just say how important authenticity is? So in my relationship, when I'm being authentic, I will tell you it's a bit like that adorable little 1976 ode to relationships song by Orleans called Still the One. It says, "We've been together since way back when. Sometimes I never want to see you again, but I want you to know after all these years, you're still the one I want whispering in my ear. You're still the one." So that's why in this episode, so close to Valentine's Day, I'm trotting out an episode about love, and that includes relationships. My hubby asked me to marry him on Valentine's Day by giving me a card that asked if I'd be his Valentine, but then Valentine was crossed out and it said wife. Just to let you know, there's no way I saw that coming. We were engaged when we were together just about 2 months. And then we got married when we were together a whopping 7 months. He makes fun of himself on this proposal, saying, "Wow, wasn't I so clever?" But you know what? I thought it was adorable. And that card is in a box somewhere around here. I really should find that adorable piece of ephemera because I'm sure the Los Angeles Museum of Love would love to have it. By the way, that's a real museum, if you can believe it. And here's a little sidebar. Los Angeles also has a museum of broken relationships. So they've really covered their bases on that whole stories of love and loss continuum, haven't they? I mean, we know, sometimes love lasts, sometimes love doesn't, but it's always worth it to give it a go. When you meet someone who, makes your mouth dry when you see him, you forget where you are for the moment, and then you wonder how you'll get through all the future moments if they're not in them with you. So it was the 80s. Oh, wait. But first, it's 2026, and I want to make sure you know where you can find me. So Bangs N Botox is distributed free by a number of providers, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and they're all listed on my website. And that website is Dean-Epps.com. There you'll find loads of goodies, including the Bangs N Botox podcast tab. I distribute a Ms. Right Now newsletter on LinkedIn, along with hosting a Bangs N Botox company page there, just in case you're a LinkedIner. If you are, reach out to me and let's connect. Now, where were we? Yes, the 1980s, the era of rock power ballads, big hair, and a shocking display of total equality. Big hair was the thing for men and women. And innovation was all around us, along with a heady blend of Aqua Net and Love's Baby Soft fragrance. They were all in the air. Fashion was what was called maximalist because it was all colorful, fun, and attention grabbing. Kind of like how I like my personality described. In the 80s, I was in my 20s, and everything was on my side. Gravity, time, and I loved mirrors and natural lighting. All good. This part of my story begins when I was a junior in college. I was in a dance company, interning at a radio station, double majoring and double minoring, and working at a law office. In short, I didn't just burn the candle at both ends, baby. I had a candelabra. By the way, that comes from the Latin word candelabrum, meaning candle tree. I know. Take that to your next cocktail party. Oh, God. Are there cocktail parties? Wine hour? I don't know. When you go work out, just tell the person next to you what you learned. I wasn't going to miss a thing. That probably hasn't changed. And so talk about grabbing the gusto. I was one busy woman. But here's what I wasn't going to do. Get married. Nope. Not me. I was going to remain free, unencumbered, not being defined by a man, but being my own woman, whose heart was owned by no one. Oh, but then my friend asked me to go to a bar with her. That was the old-fashioned way my generation met a love interest. This was our version of Tinder, but where we actually saw the real, unadulterated version of the person, and in real time, we swiped right. Oh, wait, no. Or was it left? Dang it. You know what? I really should have looked this one up before I launched into recording. But you get what I mean, right? We said, yes, please, or the big no thank you, often without the thank you, that's for sure. Our love story, like so many love stories, almost was one of a misconnection. I call this "We Met at a Bar," an American love story. Nothing shows how far I've gone down the old timeline than reflecting upon my experiences as a fresh-faced, light-hearted, pre-hyphenated version of myself, landing me firmly in the decade of decadence. Ah, yes, the 80s. A time when my confidence was bolstered by youthful exuberance, sturdy shoulder pads, and Aqua Net stabilized big hair. My gal pals and I were out and about on a weeknight because we needed to cheer up my friend who was smarting from a fresh breakup. I wasn't too keen on the outing because not only was my stomach hurting from rapid fire consumption of my beloved peanut M&Ms, but I had sworn off relationships. Again, why go to the pond if you don't even want to fish? However, I wanted to be supportive. That's how I found myself cruising on into a bar named C Street North, which was neither on C Street nor was it situated in a northerly direction. What it was well known for its kamikaze cocktails and its weekend warrior, locally grown rock and roll hair bands. This isn't to be confused with hair bands, those strips of cloth or plastic worn in the hair that fit closely over the top of the head and behind the ears. Completely different things. Right when I entered the club, I locked eyes with him. The most stunning man I had seen since I was a tween, and now 80-year-old Bobby Sherman had graced multiple Tiger Beat magazine covers. Oh, sigh. My excited hazel-hued peepers met his beautiful baby blues. Then he was gone. Poof! Paging one gorgeous hunk. Where'd you go? And I thought that was that. About half an hour went by when the DJ, because that night it wasn't a live band, played the most romantic of songs. Do You Come From the Land Down Under by Men at Work. And there the gorgeous hunk was again, only now he was standing right next to me, asking me to dance. I nodded affirmatively. Ironically enough, though I was minoring in dance at the time, I remember my dance moves as being pretty lackluster. I was too busy staring at him and then acting as though I wasn't staring at him, trying desperately to figure out how to stay on the dance floor for multiple tracks. Time didn't stand still, but I wanted it to. However, as songs are prone to do, this one ended, and off went my potential life partner. Truth be told, he ran off. Again, vanished, dematerialized, disappeared. This was one magic man in so many ways. It wasn't long after when my besties and I decided to call it a night. We were all feeling our own kind of miserable, having to do with missed and unwanted connections. As I exited, I took one last look around the room, flipped my hair, and walked out in what I thought was a rather fetching way. Well, I needn't have bothered. Why? Because that fine looking man wasn't there. How do I know? Because he was outside, leaning against the side of the building. Did I mention it was a time of wild abandon when very little critical thinking was going on? My version of wanton behavior meant I sashayed on over to my mystery man, striking up a brief conversation that would fill in all the important blanks, specifically name, schoolwork, investment plans, religious beliefs, political leanings, and then we smooched. Do you believe that? Rewind. We covered number 1 and 2, smooched, and then I had to go. So my friends were more than a little concerned about my uncharacteristic making out with a complete stranger move, which triggered our predetermined code words for just these sorts of occasions. They yelled loudly and simultaneously, "Let's go!" I told the future father of my children we were headed to a popular late-night coffee shop, inviting him to meet us there if he wanted to. Oh, he wanted to. My continued bad girl activities that night included playing footsies with him under the table, staring at him as though he was a flask of water available at the end of my desert hike, and then getting his phone number. I wasn't going to call him, but you know what? I did. And we've been together ever since. And as I mentioned earlier, it's now year number 42. One night, one seemingly small decision, one big surprise love story. Now for the somethings, my recommendations. Something I'm reading. Well, I did manage, even though I've got the puppy and we're doing lots of puppy stuff, and I'll get to that one in a second. I read Mark Levy's The Heart of Everything. It was amazing. The Heart of Everything, the premise really, it seemed to be stretching that whole suspend your disbelief almost too far. But I was intrigued when I read the short description that said it's about a father asking his son for a favor, but the father has been dead for 5 years. Okay, I'm in. It was so well written. The characters are interesting. And you know what? Now I have a new favorite author. What are you doing these days, Diane? I bet, let me wait for it. You answer, because I think you're going to get it. What's Diane doing? Go ahead. Right, puppy stuff. I'm doing all things puppy care, like socialization, shots, pet sitting arrangements, first vet visit, photo ops galore, and cleaning, scooping, cleaning. You get it. It really is reminiscent of when my children were babies, except they wore diapers. Our fur baby is out there free ranging as my husband stands by patiently with a shovel, diligently keeping the grounds walkable. You know, he looks a little bit like half of that iconic Grant Wood American Gothic painting. It shows that pitchfork-armed farmer with a woman, except my husband, he's, armed with a flat shovel. Here's a fun fact, because, I'm only up to about 2, so this might be 3. We won't count, though. That painting that I just referenced, it's called American Gothic. It's the most recognizable painting in the 20th century. And the interesting part about it is that the artist used his dentist and his sister as models. And so there's a lot to see in a figurative sense, but I'd really love the backstory on that one. I feel like there's a lot of things we could learn that would really amuse us more than the painting. In other news, I decided to do something different for me, and I've been kind of kicking it down on working out and other activities. I decided I was frittering away my ability to just enjoy the moment, the next moment, a string of moments. So I've been doing more walking, listening to music from days of yore and current times, and just enjoying a cup of tea outdoors. And that last part's significant because I'm a real coffee lover and I love to chug that stuff down, and I adore caffeine. But I'm learning tea just represents that contemplation. So I have just been doing the R word, relaxing. Something I'm watching. Well, in honor of the 25th Winter Olympics, Here are my gold medal picks for best shows. First of all, you gotta tune into the Olympics, if for no other reason, because it just plain and simple makes you feel good. You feel proud, it's celebratory, and it's just a moment that is, well, it's those string of moments that will make you feel good. While NBC holds the exclusive rights, you can also watch the Olympics on Peacock, and that's a really reasonable option as well. And speaking of Peacock, I'm watching Ponies. It's an acronym. It's so good. And I love me a good acronym. So Ponies, Ponies, stands for Persons of No Interest. It's so clever. I did a quick search, and while the premise is that this show, it's a thriller that is about two women. They're the wives of some spies in Russia who mysteriously get killed. And the women are put in their place as people that aren't of interest. And thus the fun begins. It's got Emilia Clarke and Haley Lou Richardson. I mean, it is just fabulous. Highly recommend. Well, I'm going to go to very, 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 how many varies, highly recommend Riot Women. It's on BritBox, so you may not have BritBox. It's an easy add-on on Amazon. It's so on brand for this show, for me, for those of us who are dealing with things that have to do with being middle-aged and more. These women, they're middle-aged, they feel invisible, and they feel like they've done everything they can possibly do when they form a punk rock band to participate in a talent contest, and then it just takes off. It's genius. Great, great acting with award-winning Brit actors like Joanna Scanlon, Rosalie May Cray, the pipes on that one, Tamsin Greig, Lorraine Ashburn. Any apologies for any mispronouncing I might have made of these names. I should be so lucky so many people would hear this and they would go, "You're mispronouncing it." It is just an app worth grabbing onto, BritBox. And with this show, it's a real don't miss. Also a don't miss is, I just hope you didn't miss the Super Bowl 60th Bad Bunny halftime show. Bad Bunny, whose real name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, was born in Puerto Rico, and he hardcore brought it in terms of honoring culture, providing solid entertainment that included the kind of dancing where I wished so badly I could just salsa my way through that screen and into the mix. And he made a beautiful statement of love and acceptance. All this, even in the face of unfathomable controversy about his appearance. I mean, that could be a whole show, but I'm going to keep it all positive here. And then the other surprise guests like Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin were just the merengue on the key lime pie. And I'm going to tell you, I'm pro them and all the other thems like them. Ooh. So before I yodel out, that's a wrap, let's get to our closing essential question, which really this time around, I'm going to offer you up some answers. At this point in the show, I usually like to offer up a little food for thought or inspiration in the form of essential questions, I call them. It's just a fancy term for the questions you ponder. But I'm going to mix it up here for my 10th episode of Bangs and Botox, Women Who Wear Aging Well, by giving you answers. So I came across an interesting list on the Your Tango blog. The excerpted title is People in the Happiest Relationships Talk About These Things on a Regular Basis, according to experts. And for once, I didn't sneer at the list. Well, I didn't sneer at everything on the list. So if you're someone that you'd like to guess, I want you to press pause right now and write down, well, not right now, hold on, write down 3 topics that don't include share your feelings that you think couples in a happy relationship should talk about. So then press pause and let's see what you came up with. In order to remain connected to your partner, these are 3 things that you will want to share about. The first one is your day. Sharing small wins and little frustrations in daily conversations about how your day felt is a really good type of check-in and, again, connection. The second one your memories. Shared memories establish warmth and connection. So this includes revisiting trips you've taken together, stories told by each of your families, or just the smallest of events. All of it, any memories, it's all good and it's super, super bonding and it's very real. Third, your gratitude about finding this delightful person. Let your partner know, or just remind them, as the case may be, how fortunate you feel to have found them. I know it may seem obvious, but nothing is obvious, especially in relationships. Small piece of unsolicited advice. Don't ever say, "Isn't it obvious?" for any reason. It doesn't go well. Also using the second person, that doesn't go well either. Just a little reminder about, love languages, that they're a thing. So here's just a quick recap. Love language includes, and sometimes there's 7 or 10 of them. I'm just going to give you a few. Words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, yes, quality time, and acts of service. Okay, woo, that's a lot to digest, is it not? There are so many fabulous quotes about love and relationships to share with you. I'm choosing the founder of the Love Labs, John Gottman's beautiful quote that goes to being open. Your relationship is a great adventure. Treat it as such. Be curious. Be vulnerable. Be willing to venture outside your comfort zone. Learn to listen. Be brave enough to talk. Share your hopes, your fears, and your dreams. That's a wrap for this week, dear listeners. Our experience is a shared one. Thank you for letting me share this time with you. May you be someone who welcomes in love, always. Maybe you've already experienced that one night when one seemingly small decision led to one big surprise love story. And if you haven't yet, well, if and when you want it, you will. You'll find me wherever fine social media channels exist. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is where I can be located under my alter ego of Ms. Wright now. And the other channels, I'm under Ms. Wright. Look me up and let's connect. You know what? You are love personified. Keep being your lovable, unique, beautiful self. Until our next Bangs and Botox, Women Who Wear Aging Well Comedy Coffee Clatch podcast, friends.